We are pleased to be hosting a debate which features a wide range of opinions on a timely and certainly contentious topic of military action against Iran's nuclear program.
A nuclear armed Iran would pose a grave threat to international peace and security. It would lead to further proliferation in the region and around the world. Iran would be more aggressive in terms of its course of diplomacy, in terms of its support to terrorist and proxy groups. So this means that the Middle East could become an even more crisis-prone region.
Clearly, it would alienate the Arab and the Muslim world, and probably the world more broadly. I'm not a huge believer in soft power, but you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't cause problems that you don't need to cause. That is clearly a cost.
And I'm not arguing for a ground invasion of Iran, but I do think that there is a viable opposition movement that's been significantly repressed in recent years. But there is the potential that we could help create the space and weaken the regime to help foment, I think, regime change from within, which I think all of us in the end would agree. Assuming we got the Democratic opposition in a position where they could step up and take over, would be the best outcome, because we would not have to pursue all these worst options.
And I'm just going to open this up to the panel, but who aids Iran if it's attacked, particularly in the aftermath of strikes? China, Pakistan, Russia?
I don't think that a lot of countries would be rushing to Iran's aid. Actually, I think a lot of our allies in the Gulf, they don't like to say this publicly, but they'd be quite happy if the U.S. or even, quite frankly, if Israel took action by itself.
The issue is more that there would probably be a shift in the international community, including China and Russia, in ways that would make further action against the Iranians in a meaningful sense very difficult, not just from a kind of UN Security Council, fuzzy diplomacy sort of way, but the actual implementation of sanctions, for instance. I mean, we need the Chinese and the Russians to sign on to withhold future arms sales.
Again, Iran would be emboldened with nuclear weapons. It would no longer have to fear a major U.S. military retaliation. It would have a cover under which to behave more aggressively in terms of course of diplomacy, in terms of support to terrorist and proxy groups, and just have a more aggressive foreign policy in general.
My major reaction is, if Iran is so rational and cost-sensitive, then why is it that they are going to behave in such a patently lunatic way if they get nuclear weapons, right? I mean, if Iran is so sensitive and so able to be communicated with, and to understand strategic signaling, and to understand very fine gradations in strategic bargaining and conflict, I don't see why that wouldn't hold if they get nuclear weapons. If they get nuclear weapons, there's no way that the Iranians can use nuclear weapons in a way that essentially does not result in massively disproportionate destruction.
But I think we need to remember it's not just a narrow issue about the nuclear program. It really comes down to the state of the regime, and as long as this regime, this fundamentalist regime is in power, we cannot, I think, be confident in anything they agree to, anything they commit to, and we're going to continue to have these broader concerns.